Yes, it may seem a bit bold, but I am.
Welcome home, co-journers. I'm glad you're here for another episode. I'm Dr.Thema, licensed psychologist, ordained minister, and sacred artist, here to facilitate your journey back home to yourself. On today, I will start with a poem, as I often do, and this is a piece that I wrote many years ago. It's in my poetry book, Mangoes and Manna, Poetry for the Body and Soul, and I'm going to read an excerpt from the poem, The Script. I encode my secrets in poems and prayers. If you listen closely, you'll hear, but hearing is an art very few have acquired. Listen closely and you'll hear. I'm rewriting the script. The old saga of fantastical womanhood is too unbelievable, too stale, too discrepant from my springtime reality. I am making myself from scratch. I come with my own things, soaked in my grandmother's prayers, marinating in my mother's dreams, stewed in my father's hopes, peppered in the valleys of my yesterdays. There is no model for this woman I have become. I did not choose her. She chose me. There is no model for this. My foremothers cleared the trees, but they did not walk this path. And the script I have been given does not match this scene. That is why I am making it from scratch. I have to cut the monologues that don't fit in my mouth, don't capture my story, don't tell my true narrative. I have to edit the dialogues where you attempt to corner me into false choices. This dialogue drains me, makes me exit stage left, causes me to dissociate from the drama that is supposed to be my story. I am creating myself from scratch, rewriting the script, cutting the old monologues, editing the dead dialogues, and adding more character development. My heartbeat can only be comprehended in the fire of my eyes, the river of my hips, the touch of my hands, the ocean of my mind. You don't know me. I have to rewrite the script. There is only one more costume change, one more scene change, one more intermission before my climax. This is the moment before the moment. So listen and watch as I make myself from scratch. My goodness. Yes. We are co-creating our lives. We are defining ourselves. We're coming home to ourselves. And I am excited about your journey and the story that you are choosing and the story that is choosing you. That you are being intentional, mindful, soulful, thoughtful about yourself, about what you choose to say and what you choose to do, that you are doing the interior work, the renovation, the rebuilding, the establishing, the securing of your own internal foundation, your sacredness, and everything else being built from that. And so today I want to talk about dealing with boredom. And I want to tell you that you, at your core, in your essence, are such a phenomenal being. It is only when you are disconnected from the truth of yourself that life becomes boring. When we are disconnected from our essence, from our soul, from our gifts, then we can feel bored. You may also feel bored when you are depressed. When you are in a place of depression, the things you used to enjoy are no longer pleasurable. And so you want to examine what is causing me to be bored with my life. Am I in a state of depression? Am I not living from my authentic truth? Have I become drained and burned out and exhausted from the busyness of life, but there is no joy there, no fulfillment there. And how do I counteract the boredom so that I can create a life that I am not trying to escape, that I can create a life that helps me to feel alive, that helps me to feel joyful, to get my excitement and enthusiasm back for my life. And so you can also really start with the consideration of, what is my boredom telling me? What is my disconnection, my dissatisfaction, my lack of fulfillment telling me? What is the truth that I need to hear about my internal process and perhaps my external reality as well? So boredom creates an atmosphere for reflection. Instead of just trying to escape the boredom, we can look and see and slow down and recognize some things perhaps we have missed about ourselves, about what we feel, what we think, what we need, what we desire. And so during this season of boredom, you can meditate, you can journal, you can pay attention. Paying attention to yourself and beginning to reflect on what is really important to you. When I have filled my life with things that don't actually speak to me or don't actually reflect my priorities, I will be bored with it. And so am I consuming too much of my thought life, my energy, in things that don't align with my values, in relationships that don't align with truth or with my goals? And so what do I need to adjust so I can live more purposefully? What do I need to shift so that my life more reflects my values? And then we can also consider, some of us are constantly searching for highs, for the adrenaline rush, for searching for significance or coping through busyness. And so in that way, slowing down, which can be healing, we may be misinterpreting as boredom. So when we are used to constant motion and drama, then we may say my life is boring just because we have entered into a season when we can actually move at a slower pace. So we can ask ourselves, is this actual boredom or is it simply unfamiliar peace? Am I actually bored, or is it me adjusting to a more well and grounded life? So the language that we use, the description that we use may be distorted because it is unfamiliar. So initially, I'll say that the boredom you feel is a great opportunity to ask yourself some questions, to get curious about what this feeling is telling you. What is the information that is being presented? Is it that I am in a relationship or on a job that takes a lot of my time and those things are not fulfilling to me as I currently am? Is it that I'm in a state of depression and had not acknowledged that before and so want to be intentional about getting help and getting support as I work my way through the depression? Or is it life has slowed down and that this is a gift? Perhaps this is a change in my pace and it is less boredom and more growth and adjustment and shifting to a softer, more ease-filled life. What are some additional things you can do after you've had your reflection period if you still conclude, no, this is actual boredom, that it's not really about being depressed and it's actually not peaceful. I am unfulfilled. I have a lack of enjoyment, excitement, pleasure in my life, and I would like to do something about this boredom. So a part of our addressing the boredom can be learning new things and exposing ourselves to new interest. As I mentioned, sometimes the things we used to enjoy, we don't enjoy anymore. And if it's not a result of depression, it may just be my evolution and my growth has taken me in a new direction. So the things that used to be fun or the shows I used to enjoy or the weekend activities just no longer fit me. And so then we want to be open to trying new hobbies, new activities, new possibilities, so I can see in this season of my life what makes my heart sing. So in my prior season, I may have really been into sitting and listening to music. And I may not be in that season anymore. I may be in a season where I'm into plants or into cooking or into writing. So what is it that will bring me joy in this season? And sometimes we don't know because we've never done it before. And so when was the last time you tried something new? Are you willing to explore and try to discover something that will awaken you that you don't yet know? Sometimes we just stick to our old routine and don't give ourselves permission to branch out. And so I invite you in this moment, if it aligns with you, hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Inhale in with your nose. I am open to new things. And exhale out through your mouth. I release old patterns. Inhale. I am open to new possibilities. Exhale. I release anything that is stale to me now. Yes. What a gift to open ourselves to the newness of life, to seeking out new places, new hobbies, new ways of being, new ways of thinking. We also can think about addressing our boredom with our goals. What are the things that you would like to do and have your goals change? This happens sometimes where we have invested a lot of time and energy in going after a goal, and then we get there and we don't enjoy it. Or you may have enjoyed it for a season, but it no longer speaks to you. One of the things I appreciate about this time in life is that many people now are opening themselves to a second or third career. So they may have said, I want to teach, or I want to do law, or I want to do any number of things. And you may have done it and you may have enjoyed it for a while, or maybe you never enjoyed it, but it just no longer connects with you. Can you consider the possibility of doing something else? Whether that is a whole new field or a new approach that's in my same area, but I want to have a different focus. I want to approach it a different way. I want to consider releasing and rewriting my goals and my dreams so that they are in alignment with my current reality, with my current truth. Sometimes we feel stuck and stagnant because we believe, since I have already invested so much time in doing this that I have to do it the rest of my life, even though I'm miserable or bored or disconnected. And for some of you, it may be instead of a drastic shift of totally leaving one thing for another, to be able to say, can I explore this other interest even while I may stay in this career, either part-time, or I create more openness or spaciousness in my evenings or weekends to learn more about and to consider the thing that's actually calling to me now. And I invite you, again, hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. I inhale new dreams and visions. And I exhale expired dreams and visions. Yes, I inhale my new picture, goals, hopes for my life. And I exhale the goals I pursued that no longer speak to me, that no longer fulfill me. Yes. So we can actively be a part of recreating our lives, whether with hobbies and activities, whether it is around our work environment. And then I want to also say it can be within our friendships or relationships. We know that when our relationships are not watered, they can often die out. So perhaps we're taking people for granted or not enjoying our time with each other, or it may be that we've grown apart or no longer aligned. So this could be someone you were friends with for many years, but to be honest, you've shifted and you now find the conversations boring or the activities boring. And so, the first thing we can do in the relationships we have is try to introduce our new interest, our new passions, and see if there's room for that in my current circle. So it may be that we used to watch television all the time, and that was like every evening and every weekend. And now you've become interested more in the outdoors. So, can I say, would you like to go on a walk with me? Or, can I say, instead of like watching television, I'd love to go to a museum. Do you want to go with me? Right? So we can try to expand the norms of our friendships and relationships with our current circle, and or we can open ourselves to meeting people who are aligned with the things that are now important to us, the things that really speak to us, the things that will help us to feel more fulfilled and alive. So perhaps you were not a spiritual person when you all became friends, but now over the years, that has become more central to you. So you would like to connect with people who talk more about spirituality, who think more about spirituality, who perhaps participate in more spiritual spaces. And so to give yourself permission, can I expand my circle so that it includes people who reflect my passions and my interests? Yes. Again, sometimes the boredom is because we have resigned ourselves to feeling stuck, believing that we must stick to old routines because they are routines. And we can rewrite the script. We can create it from scratch. We may want to hold on to some old connections and some old ways of being, but we also want to create space to be able to do it a different way. Even for those who are in long-term romantic relationships, we often talk about, how to keep the spice going or the fire going in a relationship so that we are not just slipping into old patterns that bore us and very likely bore the other person as well. And so innovation, creativity, thinking outside of the box, doing things a new way, introducing or reintroducing passion so that it is not just the pattern, the predictable pattern, but instead of waiting for the other person to bring the passion, what would it look like for you to revive passion in your life in general? And what would it look like for you to revive passion in your love life, in your romantic life? When is the last time you surprised your partner? When is the last time you wrote them a love letter? When is the last time that you were spontaneously affectionate in a different way, stepped out of your normal routine? And so it is possible for us to revive our hearts, for us to create a life that we actually enjoy, and for us to be able to create new patterns, whether in work, whether that is in play, whether that is in my friendships, to get closer to living my truth. And in living my truth and spending time with myself, sometimes our boredom is because we are neglecting our gifts. So you are a gifted person and you carry wisdom, and sometimes that has been untapped, underexplored, underutilized. You may have gifts that don't really get used on your job. You may have talents that you have not really given space for because you think it's frivolous or it doesn't make money, or someone told you that you weren't the best at it, and so you let it go, even though it was something you actually enjoyed. And so I invite you in this season of your life to reclaim your gifts. If you used to enjoy art, to go back to it. If you enjoyed singing, to go back to singing. If you enjoyed reading and can't remember the last book you read, this is the time to reclaim that part of yourself. You used to enjoy a particular subject matter and haven't done anything in that in a long time. So you are bored because you are disconnected from your gifts and from your passions. And I understand that time is limited. And some things, yes, take a lot of time, but some things we can give ourselves in small doses. That if I just can set aside a little time each week to be able to do something I actually love, something I actually enjoy, that could shift the rest of my week. And it also will give me something to look forward to. And so may this be a season where you stir up your dormant gifts, your neglected gifts, the gifts that you thought were dead. Perhaps you have not engaged in them since you were a teenager or in your 20s. But the reclamation process is about not just reclaiming things, but reclaiming ourselves. So a part of you only comes alive in certain spaces or when you're doing certain things. And so to get yourself back, to come home to yourself, I'm excited about you shifting out of boredom and reawakening to a life where there is fulfillment for you. I invite your soul to tell your heart, mind, body, and spirit, welcome home.